Nails.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
And that shit is fucking dope.
What kind
It
of vibe
sounds
is it?
like
Yeah.
it's old 9-inch Nails. It's downward spiral 9-inch Nails. That's how good it is.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Try
it's a
some of that.
it's so dope because health is heavily influenced off of that industrial, electronica, and the innovators and the godfathers of that are 9-inch Nails. So to see them on a track together, to hear them on a song together is very similar, their styles. And it just blends perfectly. Like even Trent Reznor's vocals are just perfect.
I'm already here. I'm like, that probably fits really well. I can already like hear it.
Watch when Trent Reznor's vocals kick in. It's gonna bring you right back to 1993, Downward Spiral days.
Made.
Yeah,
It's
but
fire.
guys,
What was that?
you know what time it is? Welcome to the next episode of VGXL. I'm your host, Daniel, aka Games. Joining us today, we have KillerHachet. Welcome to the podcast, KillerHachet, and of course, welcome back, El Torrente. We missed you last week very, very dearly.
What do you mean? I was here. I was here last week. You guys didn't see me?
That was you with the purple hair? Oh no, that was Fef.
I was right there. Oh man, listen. I must have not turned my camera on. I'm sorry, man.
And AutoCAD is here as well. Thank you, AutoCAD.
Damn, I'm sorry. Shit. Fuck. Should I go? Should I leave?
AutoCAD's Knicks clinched, baby.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They did. Yeah, take a
I know
look.
he's happy about that.
Yeah, buddy.
You know?
But what's gonna happen with the gear once the Knicks start to lose?
No, I'm gonna keep it on. That's
Okay,
that's
man, that shit look
development.
real nice. Turn back.
It's
like how we wear Legion.
Just turn it back and like, maybe next year.
Yeah, like when the Yankees start to lose, you see me up here like, yo, that's so wild, man.
That's terrible.
The old Jose.
Terrible.
This is what I really looked like back in the day.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it. I remember you like that. I definitely remember you like that.
Who let me do? Y'all not real friends. Y'all let me do this shit.
This knockoff Marcus Phoenix.
Yo,
He didn't look much better, so he couldn't tell you shit.
you look like Fred Durst. Everybody just thought it was cool.
Ew. That's the worst idea and the worst thing you've ever said to me.
That's what everybody would say. But then it just became a meme. It was just like, they're like, you look like Fred Durst. Like, I don't look like Fred Durst.
I used to get so mad. And the funniest shit, yo, Lou Rock, I know he's going to hear this because Lou Rock listens to the podcast. We had him on a few weeks ago. Lou Rock always got it. And he's laughing already because he knows what I'm about to say. I used to get called Fred Durst. Lou Rock used to always get called Wes Borland, except he looked like fucking Wes Borland. He embraced it though. He had the little spikes in his hair. All the girls thought he was the flyest because they're like, oh my God, he looks like Wes Borland.
Hey, it works.
Can you imagine that? There was a point in time where if you look like Wes Borland, that shit was hot. Look like Wes Borland now. You probably get arrested. He looks like a fucking... It's crazy.
Wes Borland. Oh shit. All right. So what's going on? Hatchet. So
Not much.
yeah. So I mean, so if some of you who listen already know who he is, but for those that don't, I met KillerHachet through streaming. What's your name again?
Alex.
Oh, Alex. Yeah, that's right. Forget you have a first name.
Date of birth?
Right. It's, yeah.
And your
I also
social?
forget it too.
Mother's maiden name. No, but tell us a little about.
You look to the right and you're like, who is this guy?
Oh yeah, thank you.
We have on. The guy. Oh, Alex. Sorry,
Shit,
man,
I gotta
thought
turn
it
the booster. Hold on.
We're super happy to have you here, whatever your name is.
Right.
So we're here to have you here, Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah.
My guy.
So Alfred, tell us where you're from and.
I am Dan's illegitimate child from the Great White North.
Oh, okay. I see the resemblance. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
No, but yeah, like Game said, I've been streaming for the past 3 years now.
Yeah, I think it's about 3 years.
I don't know. It's been like an off and on 3 years. But yeah, streaming for about 3 years. Met him and Pfeffer, that is, through gaming, and I am their adopted child.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, we have some age
They
on
have
him,
taken
so
me under their wing.
so yeah, he didn't get my humor. You know, a lot of jokes. Like, really? And I'm like, no, I am joking.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Don't yell at
Can I
me.
ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What controller is that right there?
Which one? The white
Right
one?
right, yeah. What is that?
This? Oh, it's a fucking Christmas ornament.
Oh,
Oh my god.
that's actually kind of hot,
It was a fucking Stadia controller.
right?
Okay, listen.
He's a big
Listen, I know
fan.
y'all love the fucking Stadia so much.
Else.
Listen.
That's a
Y'all love the
Christmas ornament.
Stadia.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, my girlfriend got that for me. I just left it on my desk and forgot to put it on the Christmas tree. So
Oh,
I
that's
like that
funny.
Infinity Gauntlet you have there. Did you see the Lego
Thank
set they released today?
We were just talking about that. Yeah.
You're actually just talking about that.
That shit has moving
I also
fingers,
have-
bro.
Does it?
Here, let me bring it
Yeah.
up.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Boba.
Hell
That's
yeah.
cool.
Papa, as some of the uncultured swine call him.
Baba. Oh God.
God, that I think is the biggest like tweak of Star Wars.
No, it's true. I mean, we have our own. That's like I saw. We always have an argument about people who say SNES, and that shit bothers the SNES and
Yeah.
NES for.
Nice.
And I saw another argument about that, Jose, on I don't know if it was Twitter or Facebook, but people were like, "Who the hell says SNES? It's SNES or Super NES." You know, like I
like,
can't
bro,
stand. Oh, that's
We
the
had a
worst.
guy at work who tried to. I mean, I love you, David. You my man, for real. He's my buddy, man. Like we play
You're a real
Overwatch
piece of
together.
shit.
We go to wrestling events together. We fucking go to Overwatch events together. But he says SNES, and that shit is it's fucking unacceptable.
Yeah, no.
Every time he says it, you're just like, tweak.
Save him. You're his boy.
No.
You know.
Like if you're not 11 years old, that's unacceptable.
There's a cutoff point.
Yeah,
I don't think I've never heard anybody say that like ever.
Oh man. So
Interesting.
what have you guys been doing all week? Anything interesting? Play any games? Anything fun? Hatchet.
Man, I've been working all week. Exhausted. Class started tonight. Woo!
Yeah, that's fun.
That's
Schools
a trip. Yeah,
schools
I hate online
for
school.
suckers, but you know, it's okay.
I agree. Beat Pokemon.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
You were
nice.
playing Pokemon all week. That's right.
So
I
Beat
got
that.
into what was I playing this week? Resident Evil. I finished Resident Evil 7 finally. I never finished it.
Only beat it. Okay.
Yeah, I beat
Good
it.
stuff.
And then I
Good
did the
stuff.
DLC, which I thought was really cool. Did you do the Not a Hero DLC with Chris? It takes
No.
right after. It's
No,
actually
no.
right. I thought. Did you play through that DLC? You played through 7, right, Jose?
yes.
Okay. Did you
And
ever
I
do the
did
Chris?
play through the DLC, and I did the DLC where you have to like I forgot the name of it, but you're trapped in the room, and you have to like do a puzzle while the old lady keeps walking in and out of the room trying to feed you.
Oh shit! No, I didn't. I didn't. That's probably like the paid
Oh, that
joints.
shit is awesome.
Oh yeah.
That shit is awesome. Hell yeah. But
Seven
yeah,
anymore, yeah?
I really enjoyed 7. I've been late on 8.
Mhm.
But that's because the last week for me has been fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which
8,
is
yeah.
partly why I wasn't here last week, but yeah, I plan on getting that this week, and really I'm just gonna crush it. I'm gonna play through it the whole weekend.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. I saw Mike's cousin Tino. He beat it in like 11 hours. So I
nice.
put it on hardcore and was playing last night on stream. And I'm sorry I had to show everybody that horrible display, but I died in the There's a part where you have to like run away from all these lichens, like werewolf guys, and that's what you have to do. They were murdering me. I put it on hardcore because I kept reading that the game is too easy, even on normal. Hardcore is like just the right amount of. And I was getting murdered for an hour, and finally, I passed it, and I got to see Big Boob Lady, and it was awesome. But
yes.
that first part was horrible. What about you?
Seen some of the
That's all
mods,
anyone cares about. All right, listen.
Yeah.
Lady
Some of the mods
Dimitrescu-
they already have for her are crazy.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I've heard about that shit.
Yeah, they're so funny. Like it's
Apparently, there's some for Redfield or something too.
Oh yeah, turn
I
into a
didn't-
baby or something like that.
Yeah.
just- oh, that's right, the baby head. Yeah. That was
What?
funny.
That's a real thing?
Yeah,
There-
like the
Yeah.
mods have
Fucking
been.
Thomas Engine mod,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and that came out like literally day 2.
Yeah, they have that on Red. Whoever does the Thomas the Tank Engine thing, like they have that shit on just ready whenever a game that's easily
I'm
modded.
convinced It's the devs.
Right, it's just a meme at this point.
It's one of the devs,
Yeah.
and they're just like, listen, everyone loves Thomas the Tank Engine. Let's slide this mod out as an anonymous publisher. Done.
right?
Let's keep the
everyone
trend
has
going. It's like
Exactly.
it's like an industry kind of Easter egg for everybody. I mean,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, didn't Skyrim did it with the dragons? Didn't?
Yeah, that was like one of the most
There
popular
was also
ones.
Macho Man Randy Savage dragon. That
the
was.
Macho Man was so good. Between Macho Man and Skyrim and then Left 4 Dead, I would
Oh
be
my God.
crying in tears. It was so
He was the
funny.
tank, wasn't he?
Oh, I think so. I think they could switch it up, but it was the tank, or was it the sneaky one that
Charger?
would, like the one with the tongue that would kind of creep around? So just like, oh yeah,
Oh,
No.
and then you
Oh,
run by, you're like, what the fuck?
That's right. I forgot about that
That's
shit.
funny.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love that.
Oh
I'm
man.
happy 8 kind of stuck the same vein as 7 though, because 7 I know I liked it. I liked that it got back to like telling the story of the virus and shit like that. So narratively, I like that a lot more than like the action ones that have been coming out.
Yeah,
So,
like I thought, like it started off like whatever at first, story wise. Like I was just like okay, but when it kind of shows you like the twist of who's involved and why this whole event is even happening, I was like all right, it's kind of it felt almost like a reimagining of the original one. I feel like they could have done a slightly better job of that, but overall I thought the story was all right. Like I thought the twist and why she was there and why he was there and all that was all right. And then did you start 8?
not yet. I got to start it, but I just haven't been able to get to it.
Yeah, it's all right. Like and graphically you see like the nice improvements they've done, and yeah, it's good so far. It's bonkers though. It's way more bonkers than the first one. Like just everything that's happening. He's like, what the fuck? And Ethan, even though I still hate Ethan Winters, he's like one of the worst characters though. I hate that dude. He's just like, oh my god, what's going on? And it's just like, I don't know. He's such a whack, like vanilla character. Like,
not much white boy.
it's like it could be a white boy. He's just so plain. Just like, and then he does that whole like everything he says. He could be like, I'm gonna go to the store for ice cream, and they didn't have vanilla. Like that's how he sounds. Like everything is just sad. Like he just always sounds like hurt.
He's going through a lot, man. Give him a break.
But even in the first one, when he's talking to his boy, oh yeah, Mia is I found her. Yeah. I'm gonna go to a. Why would you go by yourself to a backwater place in the middle of like what was it, Alabama or Mississippi or whatever the fuck it was? Like, why would you do that without the cops?
I have one word for you: plot.
Right, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you went completely alone to some crazy, scary spot. Whatever.
It seems like a good idea.
Exactly.
All right.
I don't go to the club by myself, but
I would have died.
I guess we could talk about a little bit of news today. It's news.
little bit.
What you call it? I don't know if you've been hearing like Sony's facing lawsuits about, a couple of years ago they stopped selling like the cards, like the digital cards that you could buy like at GameStop or like Walmart or whatever. And so now they're getting sued for that. And I'm like, that took long enough. That was weird. So it's like, did you guys even buy any of those like PlayStation cards? Like you ever bought a game on a card?
Like you just bought like
the code, yeah, like
code. No, I never did.
What about you?
Maybe once.
I didn't know that was a fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like they're talking all this shit, but like those cards never went on sale, and they're saying, oh, like you can't buy it. You can. I don't know. The whole lawsuit sounds like bullshit because it's like nobody buys them shits. Even though I mean, it's true they should allow other people to sell them, but them shits were never on sale. Like you hardly ever saw them things on sale. It was always like, I don't know. So I've never seen. Maybe I never looked for them. You're making a face.
I didn't even know they fucking existed.
Well, yeah, there's that. But like, who exactly is losing out on what? Like, are resellers losing out on?
Well, these are just lawyers looking for something to be in the news about. But they're suing, saying that Sony can mark them up at like at 100, like at a 55%. I don't know the number. It's a higher percentage that they're marked up because you can only buy them in, on Sony's digital store.
So the price has changed for them.
Say that again.
So the price for these points has changed.
They're just saying that you haven't been able to buy the cards in 2 years. So they're saying that you can't compete, and if you're a store, you can't compete with the digital sales. Like you can only sell physical and not the digital cards, like the codes.
Nice.
And they're saying that like they can mark them up. I'm like, them things. I'd never seen them lower than like whatever the going price was.
So I'm saying they're always a set price. I think that's the whole point. There's literally no reason for them to be at those other locations. There's only ever one price for them.
Exactly. I'm like, it was either a full price game or like whatever it costs brand new, like an older game. Like if the game dropped to $40 because it's an old game, then that's how much those cards would cost. But apparently, I don't know. I think that's full of shit. But apparently that's
you ever buy any of those cards?
Never. I don't see the point in that shit. I want to have tangible or digital. I don't want to be like that shit's I don't know. To me, that I never saw the point in it.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, like I get the lawsuit, but I'm sure it's never them claiming that Sony marks them up and you know they sell them at a exorbitant price is bullshit to me. I'm like, yeah, right.
Shut up. Their fucking company. Fuck it.
Yeah, but anyway, also like there's the fanboys, the Xbox and Sony ponies have been fighting because it wasn't clear if Starfield was gonna be an exclusive, and if you know Jeff Grobe, who's like a writer or something, they've been fighting with him. So apparently it's gonna be exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, whether it's PC on Game Pass PC or Game Pass for console or whatever. I'm like, do you guys even feel? I mean, what do you think? I mean, are you happy or mad? Because I know Starfield's a big deal. It's one of their biggest games. It's supposed to be a space RPG. Like AutoCAD, I know you like some of the Bethesda games. Like, do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing, or do you give a shit that it's gonna be on PlayStation?
I'm not a fanboy. I'm really not, but fuck Sony. Yeah, I love it. Give it to Microsoft. They need an exclusive. Let's be real. Like Sony, what else do you want? Do you want my left arm? Do you want my left testicle? Like you have all the other exclusives. Take it easy.
Yeah.
It's one. Relax.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Exactly. What yeah, exactly.
Was Starfield supposed to be like the space, like I don't know. They were talking about something being the battlefield killer like years ago, and I heard something about Starfield. I could be completely.
It's gonna be an RPG. Think they people are saying Skyrim is. We don't know much about it, to be honest, but it's being like assumed that it's Skyrim in space.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
I mean,
I don't
and the
care.
other thing is we don't even know a lot about it.
Exactly.
Sorry. Go ahead, Hatchet.
Like you said too. Like they announced it years ago, I think, and nothing's still come out from it. Aside from now we know it's an exclusive. But I don't care. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. It's coming out on PC, so that's why I'm like, to me, I don't give a shit. It's like, I get like it does make buying an Xbox a little harder. And if it was a console exclusive, not for nothing, I'd be kind of happy for Xbox. Like that would make me kind of want to pick one up. You know what I mean? I already have one, but I'm just saying, like, you know, there was no reason to buy Xbox One. I got one like on one of those big crazy Christmas sales where you got like 2 games, a controller, and a $50 gift card, and it was like $300. I was like, fuck it, I'll just pick one up and I never touched that shit. I literally never touched it. Like even when Game Pass came out and all that, I was like, I have no reason to play. And then it wasn't the One X, so everything now was standard resolution. You know, like you're playing the lesser version, and I had a PS Pro and a PC already, so it's like, give them their game. I don't know why people are like, no, Sony is, that's anti-consumer, or Xbox is gonna lose money if they make it exclusive. They need to put it on. I'm like, shut the fuck, y'all really don't know what y'all talking about. Like they need this, and I'm happy. Like let them be competition. Let them have this, because if Microsoft keeps failing, all we're gonna have left is Nintendo, who's not even directly competing with these guys, and Sony. And we don't want a big-headed Sony like we had in you know, $599 US. $599 US.
No.
We don't want a repeat of that. We don't.
No.
That's why
I
I'm
want
like,
another game company. Fuck it. I want a 4th game company. I want Sega
I
to
agree.
come back. I want Sega and Atari and I don't know who else to fucking Rolovision to combine and make a 4th one. You know, like more competition, drive the prices down. You know, spread
exactly.
It out.
I mean, Stadia could have been something, but fucking just really quick.
You with Stadia, god damn.
Because there's news really quick. I don't know if you saw, there was like an article, I think they heard us talking mad shit, and there was an article like, oh, so-and-so wants everyone to know that Stadia is alive and well. I'm like, that's bullshit. Yeah, full of shit.
Bullshit.
No
Like,
way.
nobody gives a fuck.
That shit is 6 feet underground.
Like, you don't have your main directors leaving. You don't shut down studios and have your creatives leave and talk about, oh yeah, everything's good. The house is on fire behind you. Yeah, everything's fine.
That's the government going, don't panic when everything's going wrong and you should panic.
Yeah, it's all right. Stadia, shit's going
there's
amazing.
no zombie apocalypse as a zombie's walking
Right?
across the street.
Everything's
Stadia
fine.
reminds me of like the fucking rich kid in school who tries really hard to be cool, but nobody fucks with him. And he's just like, come on, man, come to my house. My house is gonna be awesome. Like we got a fountain and
I have a
we're
pool.
gonna have kegs, and everybody's like, yeah, that does sound pretty cool, but it's you doing it.
Right?
Like we don't fuck with you, bro. We going over here where we already know what we got. Like fuck that. That's what that reminds me of.
Handball.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, There was a Google I/O thing today, and the fact that I didn't see Stadia like trending at all, or I didn't even. I watched a lot of it too, and I don't think they talked about it at all. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I feel like it would have been trending, or it would have popped up on some game websites, and I don't think there was a word about Stadia. I'm like, that's how you know it's dead. If it was alive and well, their biggest event of the year is the Google I/O, and that shit was only about Android phones, and they have quantum computers they're building and all this shit, but nothing about. I'm like, fuck it. Stadia is done. That's it. I know we're trying to put it to bed, but I just want to keep reiterating.
It's done.
It's done. If you get your hands on one, keep that shit sealed, because that is gonna be
exactly
a collector's item.
Put it in a case, have a light on it.
Right?
Treat it like a fucking Stanley Cup.
Like put it next to like we gave it out to Watermelon Bonsai or whatever, and he's like, I'm gonna put it right next to my Ouya, and I'm like, exactly, that's exactly where it goes. The little console that didn't do shit, you know.
Yeah, it disappeared too.
Oh man, that was hilarious. But yeah, sorry, I know we went off the rails there a little bit.
God damn.
But a bigger one. Oh, I did put 3 stories. Not bad. But a bigger thing was Warner Brothers is getting broken up. You heard about that? The AT&T joint.
They're selling them to who? Who is it that's buying them?
It's like they're merged. It's like a soft merge with Discovery or some shit. It's
Discovery owns.
I didn't even know Discovery was
Warner Media and all that shit now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Discovery has pretty much every educational video, every like cooking show.
We're talking like Discovery Network, like on TV.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't realize how much money they must be raking in, but I guess they do have pretty much a lock on anything, even semi-educational or reality-based. They're kind of cutting into that. So they got about, 1,800 cooking shows?
Right. And I thought it was crazy because it's like
many nature documentaries they got too.
Yeah. On fire, but you know.
Yeah. Because now there there's no details on it much on it, but apparently some of the game studios are gonna stay with AT&T, and some of Warner Studios are gonna go with Discovery. So I'm wondering, like, I have a feeling their biggest money makers, which is probably Rocksteady and NetherRealm, are probably gonna stay with AT&T. I wouldn't be surprised if that stays on the AT&T side, because that's where the money's at. Unless Discovery really was like, no, we want that. You know what I mean? But them owning Mortal Kombat is gonna be kind of weird. So I don't know.
All right, kids. Today we're gonna teach you how to sever a guy's spine.
Right.
Insert your fist through his chest cavity and twist. Like,
right. Exactly.
No, it's not gonna work.
I'll watch it. Damn it.
Right.
I mean, I'll watch it.
They're gonna show you how to. They're gonna have like a survival show. Show you how to freaking throw a hook at somebody, and then you scream, "Get over here!
Get over here!"
Nothing. That would be dope. Like a video game, like kind of like reality. You know, they compare video games to real life, and like a Bear Grylls type dude is like trying to replicate shit. That'd be fire.
Group who did that? Rooster Teeth did that, I think.
Oh, did they?
I mean, I'm sure.
They had a thing called immersion.
Okay.
Where they took, like, you know, your classic video game tropes.
Yeah.
Like third person cameras. And they did it. They were in a car, and they had a camera set up on the back of the car, like in GTA style.
Yeah, to just
and all they had was screens in front of them. The windows were blacked out, and they just had to try and drive like that. Obviously, it was like a closed course and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
But they did a bunch of other ones too, and it was funny. Like they were.
That sounds awesome.
Were excessive but funny.
So there you go, shit like that. There you go, Discovery. Make it happen. You're
right. You heard it here first, because our predictions be getting crazy. Because I just couldn't believe that after I said they should do Resident Evil in like a survival type thing, and then 8 comes out and it has like fucking. They went all in with the survival shit, even though it's not what exactly. Because I was saying like kind of like a 7 Days to Die Minecraft thing, but still they went like all in with the more bigger world and shit. We have a few more minutes. What were the two? What was one of the stories you mentioned? Oh, GTA, right? What's going on? Or what was it? The
Atacat has some news with GTA, right?
So yeah, because me and El Torrente, we kind of link up. We both
we merge.
GTA. So GTA, in case you guys have been clamoring to play it, it's a new hot game. It's coming out November. It's called GTA V. Okay, some people call it 5, whatever. But it's coming to the Series X and the PlayStation 5, baby. get hype. Okay, brand new.
Coming out with that 4th remaster.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
God damn.
Not with ray
Fucking
tracing.
Thanks to
I mean,
Skyrim.
listen, I gotta say, yeah, next to Skyrim, they've got the most re-releases of a fucking game. But hell, those games are what, both 10 years old at this point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting there. Yeah, because GTA came out like 2013. If I'm not,
2013, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, that's
Pretty cool.
crazy.
It had that rocky first year for GTA Online.
Yeah,
Do you guys remember trying to get GTA Online to work in that first year?
I sure did.
Yeah,
It's an
'cause-
interesting story, man.
Yeah,
That was-
exactly.
It actually ties directly into the shirt you're wearing, which is why I love this podcast, because all this nerdy shit connects.
Right?
But my boy Cody had a really good friend of his that he went to college with named Asa. Asa Dang, a really, really good dude. He was part of the development team that worked on Grand Theft Auto 5 and
Shit.
Red Dead Redemption 2. He left the company for some personal reasons. He ended up leaving the company. And he ends up pretty much he had the ability to get us into the beta of the online test. So it was me and Games here, and we had direct access to the online portion of the game weeks before it came out. And this was when they were still testing for bugs and all this weird shit was happening. The lobbies were tiny, but you could go throughout the entire map, and you'd often get placed in these scenarios where you're there with people who are of, like, I guess you'd say, of importance in that world of gaming and entertainment. Because like I ended up playing a game once with Flying Lotus, who has we were in the same lobby as Flying Lotus. He's just driving around.
Fire.
And he had, for those who aren't familiar with Flying Lotus, you might be familiar with the channel Fly Low FM on Grand Theft Auto 5. That is all his. He was in the lobby. We also met another guy who we just got cool with, and he's the first person to show us. Like, I'm talking, he must have been, doing something, testing it even before us, because he comes out and he's like, "Hey man, come with me. I'm gonna teach you guys something." He shows us how to like sneak into the fucking army base and steal a jet. And we kept failing at it. It was so hard to do in the beta. It was nearly impossible. They would fucking murder you instantly.
Yeah.
And it was all of us. And then
then
we got into talking, and he's like, "Hey, so what do you guys do? Like, how you guys get into beta?" Because he's expecting us to be people who are like in that world. And I'm like, "Well, actually, a buddy of mine just works for Rockstar, and he hooked it up." And he was like, "Oh, awesome!" And we asked him what he does, and he's like, "Oh, well, like Star Wars toys, like all the packaging and like the comic books and like
the
magazines,
magazines,
all that stuff. I draw all of it."
Yeah, book covers. Yeah, he does all the art.
Covers, all of that shit.
Oh
Yeah, and then
God.
we're like, "Oh shit, that's awesome!" We're genuinely hyped. Like, "Oh, this is sick, man. This is cool. Like, how do you like doing that?" And he's like, "Yeah, man. I mean, it's good. He had just signed like some crazy contract that was gonna keep him set for like the next 10 years, because he's just gonna keep drawing. Like, these are the people you don't really hear much about.
Exactly.
In the cut, and he was just in the game, like hanging out.
That's sick.
And he was mad chill, not for nothing. That's what was dope.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, I'm an artist, blah blah blah. And he just said it like mad nonchalant. We're like, we're a couple of cable techs. Like, we're working like at a call center.
Yeah, we work at a call center, dude. We just like the game. And it's funny, if you guys know what I'm talking about, when you're driving, like you're taking that long stretch on the coast in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
And you go past, like you go through a tunnel.
That overpass. And then
that overpass. And then you go through and you make a right, and you just go through the
Yeah,
gravel.
you hit that fucking ramp.
Right.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
some
yeah.
reason, in that tunnel, every time that you reach that tunnel, the NPCs attacked you in the beta. Do you
Yeah.
remember that shit? We would be driving, and there would be oncoming vehicles like on the other lane that would swerve into you on purpose. And I think it was maybe they were doing the shit on purpose, fucking around.
Wait,
You
any
know?
NPC, not just the
Like,
military NPCs?
No, not
Bro,
just the
any
military.
NPC, regular cars, they would see you coming
Oh.
and they would drive into you. And then if you tried to like back up, the car will start floating in the air.
And the truck, the flatbeds on the trucks are actually are actually not fully a part of the truck. So the flatbeds would be flying like that. Driving down, we're like, yo, what is that? Yo, we were freaking out because, mind you, we used to work till 1 o'clock in the morning, so or 12 o'clock, get home by like 1 a.m. and then so we were playing for like at 4 o'clock in the morning. You just see trucks fucking float, their flatbeds floating, and it was like, and like I said, we were trying to get into that base, so we spent hours trying to do that shit.
We finally ended up doing it, and it was like the greatest feeling.
Yeah, jet, and then we couldn't control the jet right, and just fucking crashed that shit. Yeah.
And then Rockstar ended up giving us $1 million just for being a part of the beta, which was pretty clutch, because then when Grand Theft Auto Online actually officially came out, nobody could get on, and they gave people another $1 million for the convenience.
Yeah,
we were like the richest motherfuckers in Grand Theft Auto.
What I remember that. I don't even know if I can still sign into my account, but if I link the correct account, I still have like a whole apartment and like three expensive ass cars.
My guy.
Yo,
I met up with a bunch of people once. I told them I had $2 million, and I was like, "Yo, meet up with me. I'm giving money out." And I had my boy 8-Ball. Like at the time, I was cool with this dude named 8-Ball who played with a bunch of people, and he brought all his friends to like a 7-Eleven is in that game, and we're all in the parking lot of this shit, and everybody's walking up to me like, "Yo, what's up? I want some money." Fucking.
Yeah.
It turns out I couldn't give any money out. I could only give it to like one person.
GTA pimp.
And you know what sucked though is like after all that, because like I said, it was a super like closed beta. So it's like as soon as that shit opened, all the servers crashed. We couldn't get in anymore for that little while. I was like, damn, yo, we had it when nobody was in here. Like we're the fucking GTA 5 online hipsters right there. Like before it was cool.
Hipsters over here.
Yeah, we had to sign a super NDA.
Oh yeah, Rockstar sends you an NDA and you have to do the whole 9. Yeah.
And then it has your name in like big kind of the opacity is pretty low. Your gamer tag is plastered on the screen. So it would say like El Torrente on the screen. Like they wanted to stamp it because if you put a clip up, it's obvious who it is.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And that was on 360. That's crazy. That's 2 generations ago now. At this point,
360.
Xbox 360 is where we played that shit, and now it's coming out on.
This game was brand new. We knew nothing about it was brand new. Like I knew the online part of it was like foreign to me.
Yeah, it was like wow.
My bad. Was there a news part for that?
What?
Oh, I thought you had news attached to that.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, it kind of ties in. Well, it ties in 100%, but what you were saying earlier with Grand Theft Auto 6, Take-Two Interactive actually just released word that they have about 21 games for release between now and 2022, March of 2022. Unfortunately, not one of those games is Grand Theft Auto 6. They could be bluffing. But apparently it's not expected to release in 2022. Obviously, Take-Two Interactive owns Rockstar and they own the 2K name. So they have a few games that are coming out. They announced their NFL partnership recently. And this is all things that are going to come into play over the, they have some big titles besides Grand Theft Auto that are going to make them a lot of money the next year. But it's kind of a bummer to hear. We've been you're hearing that they're coming out with a new Grand Theft Auto 4, 5 remaster, and then you see this news, and it's like, fuck, are we really gonna be stuck with this shit for another year or two? Like,
I feel like they want to make their money back on the little tiny upgrades, so it's just look, here's their PS5 people. Now you can play it a little.
Thing is, they know it'll sell.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Yeah, like I mean, as much as I hate it, I'm gonna end up it's gonna be one person who's like, dude, get it, like we're on it. And I'm gonna be like, fuck, okay, like Overwatch. I have that shit like
third time now.
Yeah, I've got Overwatch. Like that's another game I bought like on 4 different systems. I have it on PC. I have it on PS5s twice. You know what I mean? Like I have it on the Switch. Like fuck, I don't want to keep buying this shit.
Yeah, and it's like the I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah.
Shouldn't it just be a free upgrade?
I think so. I'm not sure. I don't know if I don't think I have to pay for it. Yeah. Do you know?
It should be.
I think
you have it on PS4.
Yeah, because I'm like, you don't have to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a free upgrade. I mean, I'm not buying that shit again. I'll pay the old one. Like, but it's true though. I had it on 360. I bought it on sale for PS4.
Oh shit! Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah. They're saying that on November 11th, you should get the same expanded and enhanced experience on either platform. Although Sony clearly has a special deal, the standalone version of GTA Online will be free exclusively to PS5 owners during the first 3 months.
Ooh.
So, okay. But what about the fucking game? You know?
The game
Yeah.
itself. I
Yeah,
feel like it probably will be. But I could be
Probably.
wrong.
Yeah, I think I read it. I feel like I heard it was free. I don't remember, but I don't think anyone would want to buy, like. But then again, like you said, people be buying shit.
They did it again because when they originally released it, then they released it on you know, the old next gens. They added, you know, first person mode, and that was the big fucking, I remember that was the big deal. GTA in first person was like,
Yeah.
holy
Right,
shit.
Yeah,
It seems like such a normal thing to have now, but yeah.
Right? But for like a game, like I guess for a series that was solely third person and even top down, I guess
I
too.
say it was even top down way back when.
You know, you can see boobs in first person now. Like,
yeah.
I guess that's a big selling point.
Well, maybe Take Two is full of shit, and the 20 some odd games they're mentioning that they're gonna release are just all the 20 some odd mini games in Grand Theft Auto 6.
Or
I mean, what the fuck? 21 games in a year. What the fuck could that be?
Too many games. I don't know if
That's
that's
what I'm
more
saying. That's a
than that.
lot. Like that's like 2 a month, almost like
Yeah.
practically 2 a month.
Like
Unless
they
they're
came out here
releasing,
trying
like-
to act like fucking Disney. Like,
Are they gonna go like the Nintendo? Have like
Fuck is
GTA,
this?
Mode,
Say,
GTA,
Disney Media Day. Like, yeah, we have 400 movies coming out in the next 6 months.
Okay.
Like that,
and
that-
all of them are getting pushed back.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They're all delayed.
fuck.
Fuck.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, I guess we gotta wait and see. At this point, it's kind of fucking rubbing me the wrong way about this Grand Theft Auto shit. It has to be the most epic Grand Theft Auto ever, or it's gonna get fucking torn apart. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we've been waiting for so long that if this game isn't the most excellent game I've ever played in my life, I want to toss that shit off my fucking roof. You know what I'm saying?
know.
But they do that to themselves because
Yeah.
they keep us waiting for shit like this, and it's like, oh, they must be doing something crazy. If it's not next level innovative, man, like I don't understand what's the fucking delay.
Yeah.
But we have to buy it all physically so we can throw it off the roof if it's bad.
Exactly.
I'm not throwing my
Throw
console.
off the digital version, there goes your fucking console.
Yeah, I'm not throwing my console, but I'll
Yeah,
throw
true, exactly. Like that.
No, I'm
that kinda
throwing
shit is-
my console out the window. That's it. I don't care. I'll buy another one.
Have fun buying a new one.
I like that. I like
Fuck that. I got two. Fuck it.
Right?
That's dedication.
What you call
I
it?
mean that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit kind of sucks, but you know, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So I mean, I guess we can move on. This week the topic of we want to talk about. I don't know if you guys see the running theme here, but we're gonna talk about Marvel. And no, I'm just kidding. No, we want to go over a little bit of Star Wars. I know Hatch, you're a big Star Wars fan, and I thought it'd be, I know it's something we can talk about. And I want to talk, with all the news coming out, especially, I wanted to, like now that Disney finally is stopped their deal with EA, so now they're not exclusive anymore. So starting 2023.
Thank God.
I know. I'm so happy. I mean,
man.
Battlefront turned out.
Sorry. Like I gotta okay, Battlefront 2, chef's kiss. Rocky start.
Right. After
Rocky,
they fixed
like
it.
A shit rock start.
Yeah, real bad
But
start. Yeah.
They turned that shit around, and by far just
Exactly. And then they started, then you had Jedi Fallen Order and Squadrons turned out to be a decent game. Which I'm still sad it's not a Rogue Squadron game, but we'll get into that in a second.
I know.
So I want to talk a little bit more about that and go around the room, maybe reminisce a little bit. So I mean, like, what was the first Star Wars game you actually played? Do you remember? Like, what's the first Star Wars game you played?
First case. So I remember as like I had to have been like maybe 3, and
Holy shit.
sitting with my dad.
I was in the womb,
the
and
original Rogue Squadron.
oh yeah, for
On
Nintendo 64.
PC.
Oh,
No, on PC.
so, wait. So do you mean X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, or you mean
No, like
there's a Rogue Squadron on Trees? Okay.
Yeah. No, I think it was the first one, because I don't remember. I don't see, like I said, listen, this is also the same time like in the 90s where everyone was burning everything.
Right.
So
True.
like
Yeah.
I don't think this was a whole legitimate copy. But
That's fair.
I remember sitting with my dad playing Rogue Squadron. Like we had a fucking flight stick, like an old joystick. Yeah, flight stick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we had one of those. I remember playing the shit out of that game.
You're
Could
right.
never beat it.
Yeah,
Could never beat it.
I looked it up, and yeah, it's on.
Play it all the time. I think that is probably the earliest, like the actual earliest Star Wars game I can think of playing. And then there was the one on N64, Shadow of the Empire.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that in a second.
That's
yeah.
one that I'm
yeah,
of?
I'm probably.
My buddy had it, so I would go over to his place and watch him play it.
Nice. What about you, AutoCAD?
My first Star Wars game was on Windows 95. It was Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2.
Nice.
So the second one, yeah, that was the first one, and I want to say that might have been my first kind of real interaction or introduction to anything Star Wars. Like I might have seen the movies kind of, in passing, sort of. I was like 10, so the movies didn't really click with me in that way. They looked more serious, the first
right.
3. But yeah, I just played the game. I was in a situation where I had free time in between kind of working. And so in between that working time, I'd be stuck at a place, and that place had this game. So I'd sit around and I'd rock out to Dark Forces 2. And it was so hard as a 10-year-old to play this game.
Yeah, that game
I
is
did not get very far, but
is this the same series as like Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast?
I think it ties into it, if I'm not mistaken.
What was that?
Dark Force. That's it's a first person shooter.
Yeah, it's almost. I think the first one was actually just they modified. It looks like Quake. It looks like they took the Quake engine and just modified it with Star Wars.
I think that's what it was too. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's got everything, like the whole way it feels, the bounce when you walk, everything is Quake. The second one, Dark Forces 2, is a little less so. It looks like they might have developed their own engine or really adapted it themselves. But it still looks like it's probably based off of that. But yeah, that was my first one. It was a good one. It got me down the path of tons of Star Wars love. Which of course,
it's funny you said that you never watched them, like when you're doing the same thing. I didn't watch Star Wars until I was probably like 13, 14, because you would see them, they'd play them, and it was like, okay, knew it was supposed to be cool. People liked it, but it wasn't until like I was like probably like 14, maybe around there, that I borrowed the VHS set from my like uncle and watched them like 4 times each in like a weekend. What about you, Jose?
I just look it up. It is the same series.
Okay.
My first, I loved my first. I mean, and I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not like a huge Star Wars person, but my first experience with a Star Wars game was awesome, and it was Super Star Wars.
Nice.
For Super NES. That game was the shit. It was a LucasArts. It was still LucasArts. It was a platformer.
Right.
It's fun.
And that game,
platform shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, had elements of like Contra, and it felt very natural. It was awesome though. Like I loved it.
Yeah.
I beat it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when I borrowed that Super Nintendo, I rented all the Super Star Wars from Blockbuster. And yeah, I love that it had the opening, the text scroll, and all that shit. So, and then Super Nintendo sound was always decent. So even though it sounds like that 16-bit chiptune type of thing, but it was still fire. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved when you ended up in. You guys know better than me, but that planet where it's just nothing but sand.
Right, Tatooine.
Yeah, Tatooine. Those Tatooine levels were the shit.
Yeah.
The first one I played was what like you were saying, Hatchet. Shadows of the Empire. I remember I played that. That's the a friend of mine had it on in Mike's building had it on Nintendo 64 or whatever, and I thought it was awesome. You get to it was a third person shooter. You got to ride on there was a part with a speeder or whatever, and what really drove that game to be like an old favorite of mine was the fact that it's actually based on a book that came out before the game, called by the same name, Shadows of the Empire. And actually I would love if Disney picked that up, because it's such a small, like it works really, really well. And even though I know a lot of those old texts aren't canon anymore, they could totally keep a lot of that story canon, because it's between 2 and 3. It literally takes place right after Han Solo gets taken by Boba Fett. And so one of the chapters is called in the search for Boba Fett, like, or the search for Han Solo or whatever. Yeah, and that's what the story's about, that you're chasing Boba Fett and looking for him, and then it also discusses how Luke built his green lightsaber and how he became a Jedi and finished his Jedi training. It's such a good story. Like, they really should redo that story and keep it canon, because Shadows of the Empire was fire. You have something to say?
It was 4 parts. Dash render. So Dash is drawn into the Battle of Hoth.
Right. That's what it starts with.
Part
Yeah.
2 was he confronts IG-88, the bounty hunter droid.
Right.
And then who leads him to Boba. Then he saves Luke in part 3, and they recover the Death Star plans. And then in part 4, Dash, Luke, and Lando go back to Coruscant, which I think would be the first time you see Coruscant in the Empire.
But then
I don't think, like, even in like new canon, once the Republic fell, the Empire rose, you have never seen Coruscant since in anything.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So
but
then doesn't
there were rumors of it coming back? Like they were gonna sorry, not the game coming back, but they were gonna make a movie or a series about it.
Because that would be great, and then bring
wrong.
Dash. What's it? Dash. What is it?
Dash Rendar.
Yeah, Dash Rendar. Yeah, because in the end of the book, he doesn't. He like it's one of those like you see his ship, and it's about like it's one of those like you go. I'm gonna stay here and fight this giant crowd. And you can only they could be dead. You know what I mean? It's one of those like he ambiguously died, so you're not sure if he died or not. He went into a battle that he couldn't win, and that was the last you hear of him. And apparently, So that definitely became one of my favorite, like at the time, like games / things. What happened?
Now this was also the one where you're on Hoth and you have to tie up the legs, right?
Right. I mean, that's in a lot of them, but
I never liked this game that much because I could not tie.
That part is
I feel like every game has managed to fuck up that one like pivotal moment in Star Wars.
Yeah, well,
like no game has been able to accurately do it properly in my mind.
No, there was one. What was it? I think when they
did it.
They did it in Battlefront.
Did they do it in Battlefront? I never did it in Battlefront because I like you said, it turned me off like forever.
I mean, it was years after, so I guess the damage was a little receded, and I was brave enough to try it again, and it felt a lot better. Like it felt doable. When this one, I remember, I just was like, it's impossible. No one can do
that first part is super. That whole game was difficult. Don't get me wrong, it was super difficult, but it was just Star Wars, and this is when I started to fall in love with it or whatever. But yeah, and what you call it? So yeah, do you have any Star Wars games you guys disliked that you played and you just hated?
Hated?
Or like just disliked in general, like you just wasn't a fan?
Yeah.
It's probably shout out to the Empire.
Yeah, besides that one, yeah. I mean, right now I'm playing the new one that I am blanking out on the name of.
I just said it.
Yeah.
Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order, yeah. So I'm playing that now, and it's so close to being good. It's so close to being like really, really good. But and maybe that's why I dislike it so much, because it's so close to being good, but then it's not. I get caught up in weird areas, like just the fighting is so annoying. It's not even. It's like Dark Souls, except the enemies can, it's not fair. They pretty much, you can roll out of their way, time it perfectly, and they'll pretty much just rubber band directly onto you from 20 feet away and hit you. And it's like, come on, you can't do that in a game like this.
Get good,
completely ruins it.
Get good.
Yeah, I know. I gotta get good.
Which one did I dislike? Oh, I don't know if a lot of people played it, but the one on GameCube, Rogue Squadron 3 was trashed, from what I remember.
Rebel Strike?
Huh?
Okay.
Rebel Strike?
Yeah, because Rogue Squadron 2 was amazing. I think it was one of the earlier titles on the GameCube. I think it was the first game I ever got on GameCube. You do the battle, I think you do Hoth, and they did it pretty decent in that one. And then you do the Death Star run, and it's so much better than the Nintendo. Like there was so many classic moments in Rogue Squadron 2, and then 3 comes out. And it's like all these fights that don't matter, like shit that like they made up a lot of shit. There's no classic fighting. There's nothing and the story just wasn't that great. And that's probably one of the ones I remember the most, like just really just not liking, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking it up, and it looks like the third one takes place shortly after the destruction of the Death Star over Yavin.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah, it was just all right.
It's kind of like the in-between area where like nothing really happened for Star Wars, but
and then it's like all these little battles, and they try to make a little story about.
But
like
apparently they go back to Geonosis. That's wild.
Yeah, I don't. we're talking years ago, so I'm like, I forgot about all that shit.
Yeah, that's so I'm lost on that one.
Jose, was there
That's
any games that you disliked
pretty
or that you played on Star Wars?
Star
Like,
Wars?
yeah, fuck this game.
I mean, my one experience with a Star Wars game was that one, and I enjoyed it. I've never been into the Star Wars games. Like Eddie, my cousin Eddie is a real, he's a huge fan of all those games.
I
Like
see.
he always gets them.
Yeah.
Mario was real big on Rogue Squadron. He was keeping up with the franchise for a while too. I know they're excellent. Like a lot of those games, I see them and I'm like, fuck, this looks great.
Yeah.
I know they got
graphics
killed
for today's
on that.
standard.
Right,
What was
right. I know they got killed on that microtransaction shit a few years back.
Oh,
Battlefront.
Battlefront. Yeah, Battlefront got slaughtered. They
Yeah,
fixed
they
that.
got fucking killed. I remember that shit. Like people were paying to get Darth Maul and
Yeah.
it's fucking a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, I could see myself getting into those games heavy. Like if they delivered a Star Wars like open world, insanely huge open world like Grand Theft Auto size Star Wars game with like an element of travel where you go from one planet to the other. You know what I mean? Like
Just geeking out over there.
like in my mind, I'm thinking like if you take the elements in the battle system of like a Horizon Zero Dawn type game and the landscape of like a Skyrim and put it in the Star Wars universe, but elaborate on it, I think that could be amazing and it could last years and years because that lore has the most dedicated fan base, right?
Yeah.
Tell me it doesn't.
Okay, so funny you say that because there are rumors that it's not I don't
It's pretty
it's
confirmed. I
either
think
a
it's all
rumor
but
or it's all
confirmed.
been confirmed at this point that they are making a open world Star Wars game.
What? For real? Shit.
Story driven
Nice.
like single player title.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, it's long
Ubisoft,
overdue.
right? Ubisoft is making that one, right?
Yeah, it's Ubisoft. So I mean, you know,
So you're
Yeah, I
thinking,
made that
like,
same
it could
face,
be-
AutoCAD.
you-
Yeah.
Maybe the Division.
Can't wait to play Assassin's Creed Star
Listen,
Wars Edition.
listen,
Oh, baby.
all I want to be a fucking Mandalorian and I want to blast Jedi. That's all I want to give. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, I
know
mean,
what,
I'm
I hate
hyped
this
that that's
idea.
actually like me in my mind. I'm always thinking. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Give me the Siege of Mandalore, please.
I don't like this idea at all. I don't know why.
Like, for me, I'm always thinking in the grand scheme of things or like going big because these franchises are huge. For me, I don't understand why there isn't an open world Lord of the Rings ongoing game that's been out. Like Grand Theft Auto did it. This
There
could
is.
have been, you know what I mean?
I agree. There's a lot of games where I'm like, or like movie series
They
that
tried with
I
Lord of
look
the
at
Rings.
and I go, why the fuck didn't you make a good game for this?
Wasn't
Yeah,
there
like
an
I know there's
MMO?
been many attempts, but like
Yeah.
something where these people know, man, they've been in the business a long time and they're not exactly surprised when shit fails. They know and they stay hidden away from the public eye about it. There's certain people who have to be the public face of fucking scrutiny when things go wrong like this. But the truth is the developers and the people know when this shit's gonna fail. They know that when something's not strong, they know when it's not
They
the
do-
best product.
Exactly, especially they do focus groups and all that shit. So that's
yeah,
why
they know.
Yeah,
they know it's gonna be received. It comes a point where their main focus becomes breaking even, or
Yeah,
at least
exactly, yeah.
redeeming some sort of something in the transaction. Like they know when something's gonna fail. That's the same way. Horizon, you know, the guys at Bethesda or the guys at Gorilla, Sony, they know when they're gonna succeed. They could come to a PlayStation fucking conference and release that year that they released Last of Us 2 and God of War. Those
Yeah.
trailers, that was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that was Sony
Like,
at its
they-
best.
With that, yeah.
Yeah, what was that? Was that the PlayStation experience?
I think so. Where they had like the
That was that
mute.
event, yeah, it was a PSN.
Where they had the whole orchestra and shit?
Yeah, man, I miss
Yeah.
those, bro. I miss those
Come
so much.
on,
Yeah,
man. They know they because they have faith in their product. So they
the
know.
last big nice one, I think.
yeah,
Yeah. They have faith in their product and they know this shit's gonna be hot.
yeah. I think
You know what I
2017
mean? Like
was like
even
the
if
last
you
good
want to
one.
shit on Last of Us 2 for the story or whatever the fuck happened, the game plays amazing. You know what I mean?
That's
like
true.
it plays so well. They know when they're gonna succeed, man. These people are not new to this shit. They just fucking act dumb. They act like they don't know this shit's weird. We don't know why this happened. Everybody knew
Exactly.
that fucking Cyberpunk was gonna be a fucking nightmare. Everybody knew that.
Well, the problem is that it's not whether you know, because I feel like they know. It's like, when do you know? Like, if only they knew sooner, they could have really fixed this. Like Anthem, they knew it was
That
trash,
right.
but if they had only known sooner, how could they have possibly known sooner?
That's the part where
That's
things get
that's the thing.
misconstrued, you
No,
know?
they
Because I
knew.
feel like this is when it becomes like on the higher level. A
Mhm.
lot of it's not always clear and cut. With that situation, is like they caught it so late that they were like, "Fuck, what do we do to fix this?"
Yeah.
But you got games that have been pushed back for 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk been getting pushed back since I was fucking born, bro. Like that shit should have been perfect. And it takes us back to our whole thing. These dudes are trying to develop. You're not supposed to bite off more than you could chew, especially with a fucking fan base of rabid people like gamers. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to release what you know is gonna hit. That's
push the envelope,
and now
baby. You gotta
in the
push
game
the envelope.
in the world of data of like downloadable content and patches, it's completely made the playing field whack.
Yeah.
That's how
Well,
I feel.
But if you say that, then they can't have an open world Star Wars, because that's pushing the envelope. That's
No, that
you
you see,
gotta
but
do
a
a
game
work. Just
that
stick
like
to an RPG Star Wars. You know what I
right, but
mean?
you notice how we could sit here and we could talk about the Grand Theft Auto nightmares when they were getting online and you couldn't get into a server, and we're like, damn, that was crazy. But since they fixed it, you never heard that shit again. You know what I mean?
Lauded for its internet connection. Like, damn, why can't it run like GTA Online, man?
Right,
Red Dead
exactly. So
Online
like there are certain people that get away with it because they just deliver a product that's so pristine. And Cyberpunk didn't do that. They delivered a fucking nightmare that played like a nightmare, and people had to wait like 4 months for a decent patch. You know what I mean? And
Still not.
like
We're still
And I
waiting.
was
It's
gonna say,
still not
even
a
then, it's
decent
still
patch.
not.
Yeah, the patch.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
like,
it's
they're like,
still
oh, we have
fucked
2 big patches coming on. They fixed a lot of shit, but it was still like shit that
Patch
felt
these
like it
nuts.
didn't matter. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's what I mean when I say decent, because it fixed shit, but it's like we don't care about that. Like,
Exactly.
we want a
Like,
playable
fix the
game. There's no
fucking
reason.
game.
Like
a
at the end of the
certain
day,
cutscene hits,
yeah. Like at the end of
the
the
game pauses
fucking
and shit.
right, and then the fucking the AI was being trashed. The fact that I'm sorry, you keep the bugs, fix that fucking, like, I shouldn't walk in the middle of the street and a car just bumped me in the middle of the street. Like, GTA mastered that shit on PS2, and yet you can't have a car stop. Like,
Yeah,
That's
like
I think they got a lot of money from The Witcher, and they said, "Yo, we got a lot of cash to play with. Let's really push it." And they had no idea what
This
they were
was
doing.
a
It was
very-
city game.
this was a very Final Fantasy 14 1.0 moment. See what happened? The story,
right.
really quick on that, is 11 was successful. Had, you know, they were getting 600,000 subscribers, which was a lot for Square. Like, they did not expect the game to even be that popular. And even though it wasn't like the 5 million that Blizzard got with WoW, or 10 million by the time I think 2010 hit, they thought they were big dogs. You know what I mean? They had that ego. And so you had all these, you had everybody fucking you had too many cooks in the kitchen. They wanted that game to look, the next game to look amazing. And before you know, a plant took more fucking resources to render than like, you know, most games. Yeah, that's how, like, you needed a supercomputer to render plants in the game, like background bullshit. Yeah, that's why it wasn't only that the engine and the story was trash and the fighting was trash, but like the game ran horribly. And when you watch it, you realize that they had to, you know how that must have hit their ego when that game dropped, failed, and you had to have a dude from a completely different series come save that shit. That my man's
Felt hard.
I don't know if you saw the picture or whatever, but they releasing a new job called the Reaper in Final Fantasy 14. My man came out in a full Reaper fucking whatever the AF gear is gonna be, with the giant fucking scythe on his back. And he's walking. I'm like, he loves his job. This like, you got the original directors of Final Fantasy 14 must be looking at him like, this motherfucker, like.
You need someone who loves it.
He made all them fools look like they still kicking themselves 7 years later. Like, that should have been me walking on that stage dressed in AF gear with a fake big ass. It was so heavy. He tries to take it off his back. He's like,
Shit. Probably legit. It's probably real.
It looked, man. I would pay big money. If I could buy that outfit, I would just buy it. I'll spend 2 G's on that shit right now, and another 2 G's over the scythe. But anyway, sorry.
A lot of people would, man. That it just goes back. It just full circle. It goes back to rabid fans, bro.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
agree.
rabid fans will do anything for, they love this shit. And I think respectfully, you got to stop being, these dudes are like, I don't know what the middle ground is, but I know that this shit is whack. Like, now my main concern is every time a game comes out, I'm like, is this shit going to be broken or not? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, I don't want that experience. I know that it's not like that always, but for hyped up games or games that
Yeah.
demand some type of graphical power,
Yeah.
you have these people not doing their shit right, bro. Like, you don't release
Exactly.
the game if it's not done. That's all I'm saying. Like, that
That's
shit makes it
yeah.
lazy. The
That's what I'm
the people
saying.
these are young dudes. They didn't grow up in our era exactly. They came up right after. They're like the 360 era and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that
It's
was a cool
crazy.
era.
The tools are easier than ever. to
That's true
get
too.
better results than ever. Like, it makes
Right.
no sense that shit is shipping broken right now. Like, nothing should ever be shipping
shouldn't be.
broken. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, we have Unreal. Like, I can literally right now download Unreal and build a game with zero knowledge of gaming. Why is it that a professional studio can't do that shit without, a
Yeah,
million
you're not
bugs
you're
they
not,
gotta patch out day one? Like, what the fuck you guys doing?
and for anybody who's gonna listen to this and say all these guys are being snobs or they gotta understand that making games isn't easy. There's a lot of industries where what you're doing isn't easy, but you cannot afford the idea of fucking it up.
Exactly.
I wanted to
You don't
touch
have
on
the
that.
luxury of day one patch.
You know what it
You know what I'm
is? You know what
saying?
it is? And I have to catch some of these books because I need to do some like industry reading I've been meaning to get to. But I'm not crazy about the guy, but Schreier, who was from Kotaku, now he works at Bloomberg, and he's like the kind of a little bitch, but whatever. If you follow him on Twitter, you say some shit to him, he'll block your ass mad fast. But he does do some good by exposing a lot of the bullshit in the industry. And one of the books that he just released, I believe I was hearing about it, is that he talks about how the reason why this shit happens is because you go from one studio, work on a game, fired. You go to another studio, work on a game, fired. And you have to you're constantly moving around as a developer between studios. So now you have to work under different directors, different workflows, different tools. So this is why if you were at one studio, you should, by the time your second or third game comes out, you should be mastering. That's why a game like Returnal, that's made by one studio, that probably has a lot of the same people, that built those games. That game came out pretty fire with minimal bugs. Of course, you still had the loud minority talking about, it crashes. Okay, shit can happen. And I had not one crash. That shit ran beautiful for me. But I'm sure a lot of the reason like shit like that happens is because either it got to your head and now you want shit done that whatever, or you have studios working on shit that they never did. Like with The Witcher, they should have stuck to what they knew, and I'm sure they hired a lot of new people to add to the team. And you probably had like a mixture of noobs, people who jump around a lot, and and then big-headed directors.
Well, yeah, no, that you're right, because I remember
Small
Asa.
studio, too.
I remember Asa telling me about the stuff he did. This is all old shit. So he was explaining to me like some of his work on Red Dead Redemption, and he did motion capture. He did some of the side quests. He did random things, like he was designing boats in the game and shit. Like the dude was doing mad shit, and I'm like, some of it is that like people who don't know what the fuck they're doing, and then the other part is these people are overworked as fuck.
Overworked, underpaid. Yup, that's exactly what it is.
saying?
Yup.
And
I feel like that's also the biggest issue too, is that like the majority of, I mean, look, you had issues. What was it? Was it Red Dead 2 that had the big issue with workers having to work overtime or something like that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Rockstar was
Take-Two
shit.
in general, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the exact. Yeah, that was a big part of.
Yeah. And they're just all fucked up. It's just power, that shit went to their heads
Exactly.
too, because you had
Power
feel like
gets
it's-
them and they're like, "Ew,
the houses were just disgusting after a while.
I feel like I feel industry standards do have to change for sure. Like
Yeah.
the
I agree.
overwork, like the crunch and shit like that, the gender gaps, this sexism, all that definitely needs to change. But at the
However,
end of the day, I think it's just like greed and a money thing, because
Of course.
I get, people are moving, they're new to the studio, whatever. But if you're a pro, you know how to use the tools. You know how to use the tools. This is a director. This is the head of it. This is on them. You know what I mean? This is their CEO boss is saying, hey, we need a profit. We're making money. get this shit out the door, or you know what, change everything. I know it's month 10, but change everything. Focus group didn't like that, and my son said he like, that's what's happening.
Exactly.
It's bullshit like that. There's so much money going around. I think that they want it all. They don't want anything.
And then they use that passion against you. It's like, oh, but don't you want your dreams to come true? You're an artist working on video games. So it's fucked
that's
up.
what I think it is. It's
they want to kind of. I think as these games become more realistic, it's like there are different levels. That in that sense, you can't compare it to our era because there are different levels of skill needed. Like it's very easy to go into a system and imagine having all the knowledge you could of computers and programming up to like 95. You can fuck with any game on SNES and Nintendo. You could create something that looks great, plays great, and it's just could be hard as fuck, whatever. Like all these platformers from back in the day. These days, it's kind of like a whole different thing because now you have to create. You're like essentially creating personalities within an environment that isn't real.
Right.
You got to create a different reality. I know it's a whole other level than it was back then, but at the end of the day, this is business, and you got to handle it as such. You don't see movies coming out half fucking done.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That Snyder cut shit, that shit was corny.
I was gonna say, look how badly that was received. You can see what happens when people release shit in other mediums bad.
Right. Yeah. Like I could say the movie's a better movie, but that shit was corny. People really cried so hard that they got this dude to remake half the movie. Half that shit is reshot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
I know
that was ridiculous to me. Like it's not a cut if you're adding new shit. It's like you didn't
added scenes. Jared Leto's in it. You had this dude playing Deadshot or whatever the fuck his name is. Like there was new footage, and I'm like, hold on, is this a cut or is this a new movie, bro?
Sounds like a new movie, man.
That's the equivalent to what we're talking about. You don't get to remake the mistakes. His situation is a little unique because his daughter committed suicide. You know what I'm saying? And then he left in the middle, and Whedon took over. And Whedon's a fucking dick. You know what I mean?
Whedon sucks, bro. He's been bad.
Whedon is garbage.
I don't know why.
He did good with the Avengers, and then he fucked it all.
Right, he did good with the Avengers. It was essential. That was a great essential starting point of the team. But he fucking sucks, dude. He took the tone of that movie.
For him. He didn't have to do nothing but point the camera. That's why. Right,
all he had to do, and he fucked it up. So I give him that leeway. But as the fans, I'm talking about, like, bro, you can't do that shit. Like, you're gonna cry so hard that you want them to release, and people are still doing it. Like, because now he's showing pictures of what he had planned for Green Lantern, and he's talking about the Snyderverse. He was gonna do this whole thing. I'm like, no,
there's two more movies that he's planned.
Stop, fucking relax. Like, the movie is 4 hours long, friend. Like, that shit is unacceptable. Number one.
You're not Ridley Scott. You can't do that.
Yeah, like, first of all, learn how to make a movie in 2 hours, because this dude has this fucking issue all the time. I remember when he did Sucker Punch, the big fucking problem was, the movie sucks because they cut my movie into, like, an hour and 40 minutes, and it's really 3.5 hours. And I'm like, bro,
3.5.
You making these movies? Like, if you
that was a softcore porn movie. Hour and a half that it was already long enough. It was fun. It was, but
like, I don't want to see this fucking movie at all. But you're telling me it's 3.5 hours and it's gonna make it better. Like, I gotta waste more of my time watching this, not naturally, because it's a whole thing now. Now you're letting me know it's 4 hours and I have to prepare myself for that. It's not like when I saw trailers for Endgame and I'm like, fuck, I can't wait. And then they're like, yo, the movie's 3 hours, and I'm like, yes, 3 hours. Like, I want it to be long. I don't give a fuck about
reaction.
That was
Endgame 2, 10.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, there's a rumor that's going around that apparently the Russo brothers have a 6-hour cut of Endgame.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm like, how the fuck do you have 6? I'm like, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, if they ever released it, will I watch it? Yes.
Yes,
because I'm that fucking stupid.
And you want to know why?
I'll break it up. I'm not gonna do it straight. Like I did the Snyder cut straight 4 hours.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I was lying on the couch and I was like, "Am I alive? Can I?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't like this. But I'm telling you, if they re-release Endgame, and it is that 6-hour cut, I will watch the shit out of it.
That's a DVD, and that's what they should have done.
Because you know what they would do? Because
I agree.
Disney isn't fucking dumb, and Marvel aren't idiots. They would say, we're gonna release it on Disney Plus in segments. That's it.
Listen,
And
gotta
it's not
say,
canon. You know, if certain things happen, like maybe it's not canon or something.
you know what?
Yeah.
Like this is just the extended cut, whatever. Bleh.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, Disney
Fan cut.
has been fucking killing it
Yeah.
with the shows.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, did y'all hear about the MTV Awards?
What about it?
Rename that shit the Marvel Awards. Because it was like best performance went to Lizzie Olsen for Wanda.
Oh, right.
best
Right. I
fight-
heard about this.
Best fight went to Lizzie Olsen and Catherine Hahn for the Wanda versus Agatha fight. Best show went to WandaVision. Like, I think 4 out of the 6 awards that night went to WandaVision alone.
So Disney has real deep pockets, is what you're telling me.
Pretty much.
I mean,
I mean,
What
no,
else to do?
honestly though, they when it comes
But
to
they've
all
been
that shit,
killing it.
they've been killing it. And I mean, they just
Like-
confirmed Thor 4 is they just began shooting, and they're using the same technology they used for the Mandalorian, which is that stagecraft technology, which means they completely replaced green screen. It's all actual LED screens that are gigantic with
There's
scenes on
massive
them,
LEDs.
Have
and
you
it makes
seen
the
the
lighting
behind the
look
scenes?
really realistic.
Yeah.
Have you seen the behind the scenes stuff for Mando?
Yeah, I
I
have.
have,
It's
yeah.
God, that is
insane.
you like when they showed that, I'm like, this is mind blowing.
It's
Yeah, they're
pretty
gonna.
crazy,
That's
yeah.
Disney.
I'm like,
Disney
this is-
owns that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh
That
Well, that
technology
shit. So
belongs to them.
Is it theirs or is it LucasArts? Because that strikes me as some LucasArts type shit.
I know.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you
Magic
right now.
film, if
That's
anything.
definitely. I don't doubt that they got it
I know
from
Light
it.
and Magic.
It's I think it's part of the two. I mean,
Okay.
apparently when Favreau was filming, he was talking about when he was filming Lion King, or filming, a lot of those big wide pan shots that he did, like where it was like Zazu was flying over the wildebeest.
It was
He
just on
filmed that
that.
shit with a VR controller.
That's awesome.
Apparently, like he filmed it like with a VR headset, and like the controller was the camera.
oh
Yeah.
shit.
And like they showed clips of the behind the scenes for Lion King of doing that, and they also did some of that with the Mandalorian as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Honestly, watch the behind the scenes stuff. It is amazing, and like the cool thing is like you can tell when a director isn't fully like into the project they're working on. Right,
Yeah.
where like you know the end product doesn't like it comes out and you're like, what the this isn't what I expected. But like when the directors and whatnot are all like super into what they're working on and the end product is just this mind-blowing masterpiece, that's I feel season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian, because they did a sit down with all the directors for one of the episodes, and each director for the episodes basically, they were either like massive Star Wars fans as kids, someone they knew as a kid worked on Star Wars, like Bryce Dallas Howard alone, her dad, Ron Howard, worked with George Lucas on a bunch of movies, filmed.
That guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just walking around meatpacking. Me and my friend of the show, Isaiah, Ice. Me and him, we hung out a lot, and we were in meatpacking, probably going to a rooftop bar. We're not alcoholics, and we just ran into him. We're just like,
That's sick.
we're just like, hey, you're
Ron
Ron
Howard?
Howard. He was like, yeah, I am. Hi guys. We're like, what's up? He's like, hanging out. Good one. We're just like, all right, later. Then we freaked out like for 20
Yeah.
minutes.
Hey, check it out.
It's fun.
That's fire.
So all the
It's
directors have been, diehard Star Wars fans, and you can tell like they have, it shows in the work. that
Like
they put out.
like even the fan service is done well in Mandalorian. Like when they went to Tatooine and they talked about a few things, and I was just like, see, that's how you do fan service, where it doesn't really fuck up the story, but if you know, it makes it that much better. You know what I mean? It's just like it doesn't. And if you don't know, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like it was really good fan service in
Like,
my opinion.
So my girlfriend never saw Star Wars in her life, right? And then we started dating. I
When
know.
you guys freaked out, what
That's what I said to her when she told me. She's like, "Yeah, I've never seen it." I'm like, "Get the fuck out! What do you mean you've never seen it?" She always thought it was like really hokey and stupid. I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. Mandalorian comes out, and every Friday I'd go to her house on a Friday, and I'm like, "Hey, the new episode's out. Can you're busy doing something. I'm gonna watch this show." And she's like, "Yeah, sure." So I'm sitting there watching the show, and fucking Baby Yoda comes strolling along, and she's like, falls in
What
love
is
instantly.
Whoever was
Exactly.
like, look guys, this is what we're gonna do. Yoda, but a baby. Like
exactly.
merchandise. That sounds like some fucking Spaceballs shit, you know, where he takes all like merchandising, you know, and it's just like this was the best merchandising idea that they could have had, at like you know, because you don't really know much about the race unless you know about the greater Star Wars universe.
Even though I don't even think I think out of all the races, his is the most like cryptic. You don't know shit all.
You never hear about it.
I think the only other time,
two of them, him and Yaddle, and everyone's thinking that Grogu's the love child of Yoda and Yaddle. That's it. That is all we know. And even then, we still don't know.
That's true. I think it's funny because I just watched the Star Wars like the history of Knights of the Old Republic, and I didn't realize BioWare only did the first one. You know, I had no idea Obsidian did the second one. Yeah, Obsidian did the second one. It makes me want to go back and play. That's early Obsidian work right there.
That upsets me because that's why I was so excited when Obsidian started working on another RPG for, I think, the 360. And it was supposed to be like a massive, amazing, like this almost kind of Ghost in the Machine-esque Nordic kind of mashup. And it was the worst piece of shit that ever came out. It was so bad.
What game was that?
Yeah, let me find the name of it.
Yeah, I just learned about that, and I don't think it turned out. You played both Knights of the Old Republic? AutoCAD?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the second one, they didn't have like a evil Yoda, right?
An evil Yoda?
Yeah, like a dark side, same race but a dark side version of it.
See.
Because I just want to make sure I'm remembering it right, because I saw it the other night. Yeah, because that's what BioWare's plan was gonna be, that you play as it was still gonna be like a Sith Lord sequel, but instead of it being like a Yoda character teaching the light side of the Force, it was gonna be like the same race but teaching the dark side of the Force. Yeah, like an evil version. I'm like, that sounds fire. That would have been an awesome story. Or that might have been Obsidian's story, but I can't remember. I think it might have been theirs, but then they had to redo a lot of shit apparently, and they only had like 18 months to do it or some shit like that. It was some shit that they couldn't do it in the time frame that they had. But either BioWare came up with it and couldn't do it, or the other way around.
Look it up now. Now I can't find it. So maybe I was thinking of another developer, but I could have swore it was them. And it was like, I was just like shocked because I'm like, Obsidian's always done like such good work, and then they just completely fell apart on this one. If it wasn't them, then I can't remember the name of it. Shit.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're running low on time, so I would say if anything, what last before we go, like what are we looking forward to? I know, I'd like to see that remake of Knights of the Republic, and right? I know you guys are.
Well, first of all, just touching on that. Sorry, what was that?
I never played KOTOR originally, like when it first came out and whatnot. Obviously heard amazing things for it. So I think like if they do remake it, I will 100% be getting into the remake. Obviously I hope it's at least still true to the original.
It's supposed to be. Maybe
I'm reading more and more that it's not.
Really? That's not going to be like the I mean, I heard that they might upgrade the fighting stuff like that, but that they might change the story.
Now, I don't know. The more I'm reading on it, the more it seems like they're trying to bill it as an action RPG, which I don't know. It just seems like they're like almost like more of an Assassin's Creed, like that kind of.
Well, are you talking about Ubisoft?
No. This is the one that Asper Media is remaking.
Oh, okay.
Again, I hope I'm wrong, and maybe I'm not reading into it correctly. Or
they're gonna do like a Final Fantasy remake type of thing, take out the turn base.
The same ones that did Republic Commando?
What was that? Yes.
Asper Media, is that the same one that did the new, like they redid the Republic Commando one?
So
yeah, I believe that's why they're giving that did well, I guess, well enough, and I guess that's what's given. They're gonna give Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah,
that'd be whack though. I mean, that deserves a ground up remake in my opinion. Like classics like that should like they shouldn't do a remaster of classics. They should be keep it the same. Like Demon Souls has to be probably one of the best examples besides that and like the other Sony games that Blue Point has done, like Shadow of the Colossus, stuff like that, where it's just a complete engine overhaul, but the game is the same, it's faithful to the game. And apparently like Demon Souls is exactly that. There's some tweaks to some of the quality of life, blah blah blah, but the core game is exactly the same. And some of these classics deserve that, you know what I mean? Like keep the core the same, and and just and then do it like that, and just that's a true remaster, not just a upscale or whatever. Like they should do like a ground up remaster would be way better in my opinion.
As long as they keep the story, because that's part of the reason why I don't want to see a Star Wars game as like an open world like that, because I like narrative games.
Oh shit!
So I'll miss it if they take away the narrative aspect.
It's gonna have to have some sort of a narrative to it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What happened?
No, I said sorry because I said, "Oh shit!"
Oh.
I didn't mean to do that.
But yeah,
I think even if they do an open world game, it's gonna have to have some sort of narrative. Like it can't just be, cool, go out into the galaxy, explore. I mean, they could do that, but that'll be a No Man's Sky,
right?
At that point,
exactly.
They need to do fire ass Mandalorian game. I know that's another rumor.
I've been saying that. I literally said if obviously if CDPR didn't fuck up Cyberpunk so bad, they did a Mandalorian style Witcher game.
Yeah, or a Witcher style Mandalorian game. Yes.
Like a desolate planet, just hunting. Yeah.
That would be kind of fire. Like, and then
planets.
And then the story. Right? The show is literally set up for a video game tie-in. Literally, like you get the metal. What's it called?
Baby Yodes. Oh, the Beskar.
Yeah, the Vaskar. Yeah. And you have a merchant upgrade person, like the person who makes it for him. Like and every time he finds a little bit more, he gets another upgrade. It's literally like designed to be a video game. That's like
it is.
And I feel like exactly. And I honestly feel like if that's not intentional, then if that's not intentional, that's crazy. And then second, I hope that game developers and directors are taking note of that, and other like Hollywood, types, and saying, because think about it. Imagine doing a movie first with like things like that, and then tying a video game in to use that. That way you don't have to make up shit for the movie. You have a video game based on the movie that has and uses the same system. So yeah, he has a person he goes to upgrade, he finds different things, and then he takes missions from people. Like, you know what I mean? It's the
from there.
It's the perfect video game setup.
You can take bounties from different targets. You can take it from the New Republic. You can take it from the Empire.
Exactly.
The former, like the remnants of the Empire, whatever is still around.
And upgrading your armor and all that would make perfect sense.
I agree.
It would be so awesome.
Whoever's at Disney with the big brain, hats off to them, because that's just genius. It's pretty much doing what's logical. Just your game company, right? Your toy kids company. You want to tie everything together. Why wouldn't you, right?
Exactly. Instead of designing it with merchandising in mind, design it with merchandise and a video game in mind, and
There's
that way
merchandise coming out from the video game and show or movie, whatever it is.
Exactly, because think about, like, I don't know, like let's say if Uncharted would have came out first or whatever, or like something like that, where or even like Tomb Raider saw a movie, right? And she goes and finds different things and learns how to make her bow stronger, and make it narratively make sense in the I think a show would work better than a movie, but still, like, have something where things narratively make sense, so that when you make the game, it ties in beautifully together. Like that I feel like is the next generation of like some real creative works where you can have a multiverse. And that's another thing. Why don't we have a video game MCU? And I don't mean like an actual MCU.
I agree.
What?
I said we've been trying. They've tried.
They have.
That's
but
what do you mean? Like Marvel?
Well, not like with the superheroes, but they've tried to make universes that contain everything. Like Remedy, they tried to do it.
Yeah, with Control and Quantum Break.
Right. But I mean, like, do a real one. Do something that's like planned ahead of time. You get different studios to make the games. They don't have to even be the same type of game. Just have a tie-in story, so you can have
the only game that I have found that successfully has brought everything together is Lego games.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Smash, but yeah, or Nintendo needs to come out with a fucking Super Smash Brothers movie and do the same thing. Have the Mario movie come out. Have a fucking Sonic movie. The Sonic movie's already coming out. Mario's, I know, in the works. Have a Zelda movie come out or a show, and then tie it in somehow. It doesn't have to be that.
Super Smash
Zelda
Bros.
movie.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, we need something like that. That's what I'm saying. Or have shows, or do it with television shows. Have a few seasons of each show. You know, or rather, no, it would have to be games. Yeah, like and have each show come out or a game come out. Timed and planned right, and you could have one final game that has like mass shit in it. I don't know. Yeah. And I'm not that smart, but I'm like, these people out there are smart.
That's true.
Get shit on.
Yo, Jose, put that shit out into the universe. Go talk to somebody, because you be making predictions and they be coming true. So we need your energy. Put that shit out there, bro.
I'm channeling it, baby. I'm channeling it, baby.
Manifest. Channel it harder.
I just stand there. Manifest.
Imagine if that happens, but they do some real like corny shit. Like,
that's
it's gonna happen. That
like Max Payne shows up at the ending of like,
oh my god,
fucking Tomb Raider.
The next, no, like Duke Nukem.
No, not Sonic.
Lara Croft.
Yo,
I'm Nathan Drake.
Yo, it's
come with me if you want to live.
It's funny. I said this is really off topic, but talking about video game tie-ins. That remember Duke Nukem: A Time to Kill? I was watching something on it, and Jose showed me this game. Like, this is PS1 we're talking, and I didn't realize that was the answer to, like, I guess nerds out there were mad about, like, a female lead in such a, because Tomb Raider was like, pretty big deal. It was a big deal at the time, like this third person action game, like, you didn't have that yet. And so then you didn't have any male leads or whatever at the time. So Duke Nukem was like the Lara Croft killer. And you found like her outfit in like a closet, like an Easter egg, and
you're like, they were rude with that shit.
Yo, they disrespected her.
Eidos, right? Eidos Interactive.
Opposite end of the spectrum of all that.
Yeah, like I remember picking up the
shit like that, and it never clicked until just right now.
Yeah, like they did that because there was no other game like that, so it was like fuck that, like here's a badass doing it now, type of shit. Yeah.
Like there's a part where you answer the phone, it's ringing randomly,
and
there's a girl at the other end moaning, and he's like, "Laura, is that you?"
Yeah, it's like, "Laura, is that you?" Yeah, you should look it up.
Game
YouTube
is
that shit.
Extraordinarily difficult, bro.
But it was interesting, and it had a lot of the same shit. Yeah, you could like climb shit, and
that shit is hard. You end up going to you collect these crystals, and you go through portals, and you go through different eras. Like you end up in Rome, you end up in times of the Wild Wild West, and it's insanely hard, bro.
Okay,
hard. That game is hard.
Yeah, YouTube that shit when you get a chance. It's interesting.
And the intro music is done by Stabbing Westward.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Is that the one? I won't become the thing I hate. Okay.
I hate.
Yeah. Oh man.
That was a great game.
Yeah, it was interesting. Remember we went to some like little video game like electronics store, and because I don't think I had a PlayStation in my crib or something like that, and you wanted to show me the game, and he was like, "Can I just throw this in your PlayStation?" Like I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And we were just in the middle of the store playing fucking Duke Nukem. Oh man. But
no, we have Serious Sam. What a downgrade.
I know, and then they had that Duke Nukem Forever, which was trash, and yeah. I mean, we have way better games now anyway, but yeah.
Kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Right?
So, apparently, due to similarity to Tomb Raider, Duke Nukem Time to Kill was internally nicknamed Duke Raider.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was literally the answer to Tomb Raider. I just learned that like a couple of weeks ago. So I was watching. So I don't know if you ever seen the YouTube channel Gamers is called, I believe, and they put the A like a V or some shit, and they do documentaries like the tragedy of Anthem or like the fall of Max Payne. They you should watch that. I think you'd appreciate that. Sure. If you haven't seen it already.
One or two of those.
Yeah, okay. and they have like it talks about how Remedy did the first Max Payne, then they bust their ass on the second one, and then they got taken off of that to make Alan Wake, I think it was, or the one there was one before.
Yeah, Alan Wake.
Yeah, and that was like their first original, and then it was Rockstar that took over. They were just under Rockstar by publishing, whatever. It's an awesome watch about the fall, the rise and fall of Max Payne, I think it's called.
It's interesting our Remedy didn't get bigger, because I don't know, I'd say back then maybe not on par with, I guess, what the GTA guys were doing, but I don't know. I felt like they were pretty fucking big. Like with the right kind of direction, they could have gotten bigger than than the GTA dudes.
Yeah,
so.
Remedy is pretty. I gotta go back and play the rest of their games because they try to be original. They try to take different ideas, and I like developers like that. But yeah, but yeah, I think we covered a lot today, and I know we went off a little rails off for Star Wars, but that's what we do here. You know, we try to be organized, and then we just regular shit.
Regular shit, man.
Regular shit, son.
But if you're listening to this on the first days of release, we are going to be releasing a nice big the next content drop next week. If you're from New York and you know about JNL, we're going to be working with them on the next podcast. Hopefully do a live podcast in a studio. Yeah, baby. And and we'll be in person, and so look out for that. And any last words from you guys?
I don't know.
Don't be lazy, game creators. Let's fucking get it.
Yeah, exactly.
And always wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
All right,
it's getting hot out there, so
word up.
One.
Peace.